As a real estate agent, have you ever had appraisal issues and you're just really not sure what happened or how to explain it? Well, I got good news for you today. We actually have an appraiser with us answering all those questions and more. What's up, everyone? It's Brandon Melvin, eXp Realty, bringing you the real estate tip of the week for all you realtors out there. So let's jump right in. This is Jeff Coultas with Coultas Appraisal Services, and he is here to answer all your questions and more. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Jeff, first, and how long you've been in business, what got you into the appraisal business, and things of that nature.
First of all, I want to say thank you very much to Brandon Melvin and eXp Realty for inviting me here today. How I got into the business, my lifelong dream was to become a stockbroker, and I was on my way to becoming a stockbroker and realized that I hated it. Just like everybody out there, you start your journey one thing, and your journey takes you to different places. And I fell in love with this appraisal business, and I think that it's as much fun that you can have. It's a great profession. Allows you to do something different every day. I'm not only behind the computer every day, but I also get to go out and see houses and see what these houses are all about.
I feel you on that. I mean, I'm seeing homes from like $100,000 to a couple $1 million, and some are blowing me away. I'm like, this is amazing. Or I'm like, maybe this house I can, take it and remodel it. It's all exciting no matter what day it is. So tell us a little bit about the last 6 to 12 months, because I know this market is unique. And what have you been seeing in this market?
It is absolutely crazy in New Braunfels, San Antonio. The craziest places, the closer you get to Austin, it crazier it gets. It is definitely rapidly moving. The prices are increasing. People are paying well over $100,000 over the asking price. It really is. I don't understand it. And the other thing that I'm seeing, people ask me all the time, what's the difference between we think that there's going to be a bubble, and I don't see it happening. I just think what I see in difference between now and in 2008 was now you're getting a lot of people that are buying that are putting $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 down in cash. I don't know where they're coming up with it. We're getting a lot of people moving from the California, the East Coast areas, and it's different. I've never seen anything like this to where people are putting so much money down. But the market itself is doing very, very well. It's very strong. We're growing as far as pricing. I think I'm originally from the Midwest, and I see it all over the place where there's just no inventory. People are they're putting houses. If the realtor is marketing it correctly, and we're putting these things on it at a correct pricing, they're flying off the market in 2-3 days, and they're getting 20, 30 offers on a property.
I totally have to agree with you on that. I personally have had clients that have to go well over list price. Some that's like, I'm definitely got a shoe in on this. We're gonna get the deal. I get the news, sorry, we've gone with another offer. And I'm like, are you kidding me? How's that even possible?
Sure.
But that is good news to hear that a lot of people are actually putting a lot of money down. So that way, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think we have anything on the horizon to be scared of. I think there's a lot of jobs here. There's a lot of other states that are having people move here because of all the benefits.
Sure.
A lot of tax benefits. Still, we're less expensive than other areas. We have the desirability as well because, New Braunfels is directly in between San Antonio and Austin. You can have people working in Austin or in San Antonio and coming to live here and still getting that benefit of it doesn't cost as much here that it does in Austin. So I agree. So tell us a little bit about the process and how everything works when you go out and do a home appraisal.
The appraisal process starts out with us coming out. We usually call the CSS, which is a local service here. We'll schedule through there to go out and schedule time. We're so busy right now that we like to give the people a notification, a day or so, but it's just sometimes impossible. A lot of times I'm in the area and I'll say, hey, I'm over by the Hazelwood place or this subdivision today. Do you mind if I just pop in and only give like a 30-minute notice? It's difficult because if we try to schedule everything way out, it sounds great in theory, but it just doesn't happen. So what we'll do is we'll schedule through CSS, say, hey, we're going to be there at between 1 and 2 o'clock. I'll come in, measure the house. It usually doesn't take very long to measure a property. I mean, if you're talking about a house that's 2,000 square feet, I can measure that house in 20, 30 minutes and then go inside. I'll write down where all the rooms are at. We've got nice software on our phones that will allow us to basically just pop in each one where the rooms are at. I'll go through each room, take a photo. The underwriters want a photo of every single room. Take pictures of all the rooms, look at the quality of construction on the inside. Then basically after we have the inspection done, we go back, we pull comps, write down where the comps are at. Actually, I'll do that before or while I'm at the inspection so that I can go around and take pictures of all the comps while I'm there. Go back, put the comps into our software. Basically, it's like a spreadsheet. It's like an Excel spreadsheet. The comp grid will take away for pools and extra car garage or a bathroom or something like that. The first page just talks a little bit about the subject, the property itself. The second page is the comparable sales grid. The comparable sales grid basically gets to the point where you're comparing apples to apples, and then it spits out a range down at the bottom. Let's say that the range is between $300,000 to $315,000. And that gets us to a pretty good range of, hey, we can call it anywhere in there. Now we have to rectify and say, all right, what are we doing? Why are we calling it $310,000? The reason why is because comp number one's newer, is the newest sale in the subdivision, or the ones that we've picked, or comp number 2 and 3 have the least amount of gross adjustments. So we called it $310,000, and that's about, that we have to justify the reasons why we're calling it the value that we are.
Okay, fair enough. And for instance, because I know you mentioned a couple things such as like a pool, an extra bathroom, maybe some larger square footage. So tell us a little bit about how maybe you're able to come up with a potential value for that and how difficult or easy it might be.
Great question, Brandon. We get this question a lot. People asking, "Well, how much is the pool worth?" Well, it's like saying how much is the boat worth. I mean, it could be worth $20,000. It could be worth $2 million. How we do this is try to get apples to apples in a subdivision. Let's go back to a subdivision that's $300,000. You've got one that's sold with a pool and one that didn't sold without a pool. What you're trying to do is get everything the same that you can inside 2 comparable sales, everything the same that you can, and then the difference, one of them has a pool and one of them doesn't. The difference in that value, one of them sold for $320 and one of them sold for $300. That bathroom or that pool is now worth $20,000. So, and you can do that with anything. And then if you get into a neighborhood that doesn't have pools, if you have a property that subdivision doesn't have pools at all, and you're stuck, you can't figure out, okay, well, there's nothing to compare it to. You can go to a different subdivision and get a factor. Factor means you can take let's say that we've got that. Let's say that we're dealing in a subdivision that the sales price is $800,000. Well, that $300,000 you figured out in that other subdivision that the pool is worth $20,000. Let's say it's worth $30,000 in the pool. The one sold for $330,000, one sold for $300,000. The difference is $30,000. Now that is 10% of what the sales price was, or the 10% of the value of that was the pool. Mm-hmm. So what you can do is take that 10% and apply it to your $800,000 house now, and now the pool's worth $80,000.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a really good way of explaining. So I appreciate that. And I know before our interview we kind of talked. I know that you want to kind of go over gross living area and what that actually means to you as an appraiser, and what it actually means to us as real estate agents, because I think that's very valuable in knowing how much the square footage is that can be counted on a home, and then what it takes to be able to be counted. So if you wouldn't mind, elaborate a little bit on that.
So I deal with a lot of real estate agents that they solely go by price per square foot. And whenever I have conversations with real estate agents, I try to educate them on what is gross living area, because if everybody is using price per square foot as a tool to come up with a value, we all have to be going off of the same price per square foot, or the square footage of the house. So there's 3 things that are involved in this. The first one is it has to be under the same roof and the same conditions as the rest of the house. You cannot walk outside of the house can't walk outside of air conditioning to walk back into air conditioning. Even if you had a breezeway, you have a house and there's a breezeway that is not AC'd, and you walk out to a mother-in-law suite, that mother-in-law suite is not going to be considered as gross living area. So it has to be under the same roof. The second thing is it has to be the same quality construction as the rest of the house. That meaning, if a lot of these we deal with are garage, the converted garage. These garage conversions, if you've got a garage that is very nicely finished out, looks great, looks like the rest of the house, and then you have window units, so you cannot have this. It has to have the same quality, or the same heating and air conditioning as the rest of the house. If you've got window units, this is not. It has to be permanent. You can't plug these things in as a window unit, because window units are considered personal property. You can take them with you. The third thing is it has to be the same quality of construction as the rest of the house. The same quality of construction means that let's talk about this garage conversion again. The garage conversion is the rest of the house is tile, and it also has carpet throughout the house, and then you've got the garage conversion that still has the concrete on the floor, and it's still got the speckles that they threw in where they parked the car and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, if it has a hot water heater sitting in the corner, this is not considered gross living area.
Yeah, I don't want that in my bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. So there's three things that has to be under the same roof, has to be the same heating and air conditioning, preferably central heating and air conditioning. We do consider the mini splits as same quality as the central heating and air conditioning. The third thing is it has to be the same quality construction as the rest of the house.
Okay. Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Come to think of it, in the San Antonio area, I do see a lot of homes where they have garages that have been converted, and I might see some of the issues that you're talking about. And so that would be why some of them may be coming in light on the appraisal. So thank you for going over that. Now, what tips can you give other realtors when they're doing their CMAs to try and give their buyers and sellers the best information, how to get the most accurate number that it should appraise for? What kind of tips would you advise?
I get the question a lot when I speak to real estate agents of what is a comparable. Comparable is if you are taking, let's say when you're first going out and you've got a list of, you've printed off 7 different properties, and you're going to show all 7 of these properties to this potential buyer that day. If you're going back and if you're looking into these comps and you're going through the MLS trying to find it, those comps are the ones that are the most similar to the property. So you're saying, okay, what if you're looking at another one later on trying to say, all right, well, let's figure out, maybe I didn't find the best comps. That's the question you need to ask yourself. Would I have printed this out when I was trying to first initially look at these properties with this buyer? Is that a true comparable sale? Is that a listing that these people would like to look at? I like to stay. We're in such a moving market right now that I usually say stay inside the neighborhood. But if there isn't any sales inside the neighborhood in the last 3 months, you can go outside of the neighborhood, because I think that right now in the time is more of an essence than location, because things are moving so fast that you might be $10,000-$20,000 behind on houses. If you're going back 6 months, it might not be a very good representation of what the actual market is. So look inside how I start out is I start within the last 3 months inside the neighborhood, and I run a search. And then start your search as narrow as you can, and as soon as you can, widen it. If there's 10 sales within a quarter mile of the property within the last 3 months, those are the sales that you should be using. If there's one, go ahead and extend I would rather see you go out farther right now with the market moving so fast. Extend your search, your parameters, maybe a half mile, stay within 3 months. There's still only one. Okay, now I'm going to go to 0.75 miles. Now, and if it keeps on going and you're not finding any results, what you can do is at that point you can go back in time. So time is of the essence right now, and location is the second most similar thing that I think that you need to look at for comps.
Okay, awesome. Real quick, this is a bonus. How would you go about doing like 10 acres or 20 acres with a house on that? Because I know even me personally as a real estate agent, I can sometimes struggle trying to find that and understand how far I can go out. You've got the house, and then you've got all this acreage that could be different in one section of the city or one area of the county than it could be another. So any real quick advice for that?
Very difficult question, but it's a good one. You're going to stay in the same market participants again. You're going to have to try to find, if you're in Marion and you know that the school district is very good in these areas, don't jump to another, or if you're in an inferior neighborhood or school system, don't jump to Marion just because you're trying to get more value out of the house. Stay with the most similar that you can, and that's what you need to really be in tune with your market. What is your market? What's your buyer looking for? And if they want to stay away from, let's say, Coultas, or I don't want to be in this area. It's, Bernie is a very sought after place, but it's kind of a nightmare to get around in Bernie. The traffic there's not. I'll put into when I'm taking comp photos, I'll put it in my 3 comps where I want to go, and it might be 20 minutes to this one, and it's only a mile and a half away. Well, it's very difficult to get around. So certain people say, so know your market, know what you're looking for, know that if they're 5-acre tracts of land, they want to be in 5-acre tracts of land. If they want to be a 10-acre, because every single rural property buyer is different in what they want, and try to be specific to whatever that buyer is. Let's go back to, would that person also be looking at this listing if they were buying this house?
Okay, I really like that tip right there, because that kind of illuminates the best way to go about it is, would your buyer look at this property just like they would this other property in this one? And so that kind of makes a lot of sense when you're trying to compare them. Are they the ones that they would actually look at to buy? So I like that. All right, so let's do this. How about tell us one maybe funny or crazy story, because I know you've been in the game for a while, and I know I have some funny stories being in real estate, but tell us something that you've encountered while you're out on the job doing an appraisal. What's going to wow some people here?
Well, I mean, it's just a funny story. It's not really wowing, but I had a trainee at one point in time, and my wife loves Halloween. She loves Halloween, and we've been looking at all these crazy sculptures and things that the big ones to put out in front of your house. And while we were measuring around, and I saw this big, this thing sitting there like this, and I knew that it was motion censored when you walk by it was going to jump out, and he had no clue. And so we've run a tape measure across the garage, and this thing comes out. I mean, it comes screaming out, and he jumps a mile away, and I started laughing. But it was only funny because I knew that it was going to happen. If it would have gotten me too if I didn't know it was there.
Oh yeah. Well, cool, man. I appreciate all of your advice and all of your helpful tips. Do this for us, because I know you're a valuable asset to us as real estate agents. Would it be okay if anyone watching this video actually reaches out to you? And if so, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
I am not very good at returning emails because I get so many emails and I get so bogged down. I always say the best way to get a hold of me is just to call me. My cell phone number is always available. I will always answer. If I can't answer immediately, I will call you right back. My cell phone number is 210-677-9802, and you can call me anytime.
We appreciate that. And then I'll drop it in the comments as well. So y'all feel free to reach out to Jeff. If you have any appraisal questions, more than willing to help you. Any real estate questions, please feel free to reach out to me as well. I hope this has brought value to you in your real estate career and business. If you're thinking about getting into real estate and watching this video, please feel free to check out the description as well. I have some good information, some valuable tools for you. And as always, stay tuned for the next real estate tip of the week for all you realtors out there. We'll see you next time.